Hold on to me, Claire.
Always. Just around the corner at the inn. And my children...
Everything is about to change because episode 9 might not just shock you. It might completely rewrite how Outlander ends forever. A betrayal no one saw coming, a life hanging by a thread, and a moment that could break or save Jamie and Claire. This is where the story stops playing safe. Episode 9 feels like the moment where all the calm before the storm finally disappears. The story has been building towards something big for a long time, but now it's clear. There is no turning back. The Battle of Kings Mountain is getting closer, and every decision from this point forward carries real consequences. Jamie is standing right in the middle of it all, and for the first time in a long time, it feels like he is being pulled in two completely different directions. On one side, there is war. Not just any war, but a battle that history itself has already written. Jamie knows what happens in battles like this. He has lived through enough of them to understand that survival is never guaranteed. But what makes this situation different is that he is no longer fighting just for a cause. He is fighting for everything he has built. Fraser's Ridge, his family, and his legacy are all at risk. Walking away is not an option, even if it means facing death again. On the other side, there is something even more personal: Lord John Grey's capture. This is not just another problem that can wait. Lord John is not only an ally but someone deeply connected to both Jamie and William. His kidnapping changes everything. It forces Jamie to think beyond the battlefield. Because if he chooses war, he might lose Lord John forever. But if he chooses the rescue, he risks abandoning the fight at a critical moment. And this is where the tension really starts to build. For the first time, Jamie is not just making a strategic decision, he is making an emotional one. Every choice now has a cost. And what makes it even more intense is William's involvement. After everything that has happened between them, their relationship is still fragile. They have only just started to understand each other, and now they are being thrown into another crisis together. William is no longer just a young man trying to find his place. He is now someone who has to decide what kind of man he wants to be. Will he stand with Jamie? Will he risk everything to save Lord John? Or will his past anger and confusion hold him back again? This is the kind of moment that defines a character, and episode 9 seems ready to push William to that edge. At the same time, Claire can see what is coming, even if she cannot stop it. She has always known that history moves in ways that cannot easily be changed. But she also knows that Jamie is not just another man in history, he is the man she loves. Watching him walk toward another deadly battle is something she has faced before, but it never gets easier. This time feels different. This time, it feels final. And then there is the quiet fear that something bigger is at play. The story has started to hint that not everything is fixed. The past may not be as unchangeable as it once seemed. Small moments, small choices, they might be shifting the outcome in ways no one fully understands yet. And that is what makes this episode so unpredictable. Because this is not just about war anymore. It is about fate. It is about whether the ending everyone expects is really the ending we are going to get. And if there is even the smallest chance that things can change, then everything we think we know about how this story ends might be wrong. Now this is where episode 9 starts to feel truly unpredictable, because the focus slowly shifts from what should happen to what might happen instead. And that difference changes everything. The biggest turning point comes with the rescue mission. If Jamie Fraser and William Ransom decide to go after Lord John Grey, then this is no longer just a side story. It becomes the emotional core of the episode. Because this mission is not just about saving a man, it's about repairing relationships that have been broken for years. For William, this is personal in a way he cannot ignore anymore. Lord John raised him, protected him, and stood by him no matter what. And yet, William has been carrying anger, confusion, and pride that kept him distant from both Lord John and Jamie. Now, with Lord John's life in danger, William is forced to confront everything he has been avoiding. There is no more time for hesitation. If he cares, he has to act. And that's what makes this rescue so powerful. It's not just about action or danger, it's about what it represents. Imagine William fighting not out of duty, but out of love. Imagine him finally understanding what both Jamie and Lord John have done for him. If that realization happens during the rescue, it could completely change his character going into the finale. At the same time, Jamie is dealing with his own internal struggle. He knows that going after Lord John could cost him valuable time before the battle. Every moment matters. Every delay could weaken their position. But for Jamie, loyalty has always come before strategy. He does not leave people behind, especially not someone like Lord John. And if they succeed in rescuing him, the consequences could be even bigger than expected. Because now Lord John is not just someone who owes Jamie his life. He becomes someone who might stand beside him in the battle. And that changes the balance completely. One more ally, one more experienced fighter, one more emotional bond strengthening the group. But here's where things take an even deeper turn. There are signs that the story is starting to play with something beyond just war and relationships. The idea that fate itself might not be fixed anymore. Small hints have been building up, especially around moments that don't fully follow the rules we thought we understood. And one of those moments involves Fraser. Claire has always been connected to something more than just time travel. Her ability to heal, to understand things others cannot. It feels like it's becoming more important now, especially after what we saw with the blue light. That moment was not normal, even for the story. It felt like a line was crossed. If that power comes back in episode 9, it could change everything. Because suddenly, the question is no longer just who survives the battle, but what is even possible anymore? Could death itself be challenged? Could moments that were supposed to be final be undone? And this is where the tension becomes almost unbearable. Because while the rescue mission is happening, while the battle is getting closer, there is this constant feeling that something bigger is waiting just around the corner. Something that will redefine the rules of the story. Even the smaller characters are starting to play important roles in this shift. People who once felt like background figures are now stepping forward, connected by moments that seem small but might have huge consequences. Acts of kindness, debts being repaid, promises being fulfilled. These things are starting to come together in a way that feels very intentional. It's like the story is preparing for something massive. And the most intense part is we still don't know if all of this is leading to hope or heartbreak. Now, everything starts to come together, and this is where episode 9 could completely shock the audience in a way no one is fully prepared for. Because while the rescue mission and the battle are already intense, the real twist might come from something much deeper, something emotional, something almost spiritual. There are strong signs that the story is moving toward a moment where Jamie Fraser faces his biggest test yet, and this time, it might not just be about survival. If the Battle of Kings Mountain plays out the way history suggests, then Jamie is walking straight into extreme danger. And the show has been quietly building toward this possibility for a long time. Not in an obvious way, but through small hints, emotional moments, and conversations that feel like they are preparing us for something painful. There is a real chance that Jamie could fall in this battle. And if that happens, it won't just be another dramatic moment. It will be the emotional peak of the entire series. Because Jamie is not just a character. He is the heart of the story. Losing him, even for a moment, would change everything. But here's where things take a completely unexpected turn. The story has already introduced the idea that not everything is fixed, that there are forces at work beyond simple time travel. And if those hints are leading where they seem to be leading, then Jamie's fate might not be final. Imagine this. In the moment between life and death, Jamie begins to see the people who shaped his life. Faces from his past, memories that defined him, voices that guided him through every hardship. Characters like Murtaugh Fraser, Dougal Mackenzie, and Jocasta Cameron appearing not as random visions, but as a final reflection of everything he has been through. These moments would not just be emotional, they would feel like closure. Like the story is giving Jamie a chance to look back before making one final choice. And at the same time, back in the real world, Fraser is refusing to let go. Claire has always fought against impossible odds. She has challenged time, fate, and even death itself. And if Jamie's life is hanging by a thread, she will not accept it as the end. Especially now, after everything they have survived together. This is where the idea of the blue light could return in the most powerful way. If Claire uses that ability again, not just to heal but to bring someone back, then episode 9 could break the rules of the story completely. It would no longer be just a historical drama. It would become something more. A story where love is strong enough to challenge even death. And honestly, if that happens, it would be one of the boldest endings the show could choose. But the surprises might not stop there. There is still the question of connection. How this story links to Outlander. Blood of my blood. And episode 9 might finally start to answer that. The hints about time travel are getting stronger. The idea that new characters could appear, possibly crossing timelines in unexpected ways, feels more real now than ever. If someone from another timeline suddenly appears, confused, lost, or searching for answers, it could open the door to a completely new chapter. And one of the most interesting possibilities involves younger characters discovering their connection to time travel. If someone unknowingly steps into that world, it could create a bridge between the ending of this story and the beginning of another. That means episode 9 is not just setting up a finale, it's setting up a legacy. A continuation of the story beyond Jamie and Claire. But before that future can begin, one question still remains. Will this story end in loss, or will it find a way to give us hope? Because right now, everything feels uncertain. Every character is standing at a crossroads. Every decision could lead to something irreversible. And that is exactly why episode 9 is so important. It's not just another episode. It's the moment where everything changes.